back here in Silver Lake to talk about wine. And I found the Laurel and Hardy steps, which are actually called the music box steps. Because way back in the day, they did a movie where they had to get a music box up the steps. Let's go check them out. I made it to the Laurel and Hardy steps. I'm here to see Chris, the wine guy in Silver Lake. And social media has reached out to us. And they're asking, how do you read a wine label? So, let's go find out. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Zach. How are you, man?
Good, how are you?
Good.
I got your bottle.
Sweet. Bonnie Doon. Great winemaker. Great wines.
All right.
But we're going to talk about that in a minute.
All right, I think we're going to stump you on this one.
Okay, bring it on.
Because social media has reached out, they've got questions, and I think I'm going to get you on this one. So, if I go into a grocery store and I'm presented with like 100 bottles of red wine or more, how do I read a label? How do I know what I'm looking for?
That's a really good question. It's something you run into anywhere you go.
Yeah.
If you like drinking wine, you're going to need to know what to look for in a label.
Absolutely.
And luckily, the state of California and also the federal government has very strict rules on what you can put on and what's in the bottle. So we'll start with it. I have a couple generic bottles, we'll say. So now what does this bottle tell you?
It tells me that it's from California, it's from 2016, and it's a red blend.
Okay, so we'll start with the geographic part. So the more geographic information you have on the label, the chances are the better it is. So California just means that 75% of the grapes can come from California. So do you want to drink 25% grapes that are trucked in from somewhere else?
Not at all.
All right,
Okay.
so that's good. And then red blend, that doesn't tell you really anything. This could be a bunch, there could be white grapes in there could be just grapes from all over the state of California, from other states, just thrown in. The only thing that's really telling you anything is 2016, which means 95% of the grapes have to come from 2016. So does that really give you much information of what you're about to drink?
No, not at all.
Or where these grapes come from?
I mean, if you want to be honest, I'll look at the price first.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
But see, if I know how to read the label,
Yeah.
then the price, okay, let me see what I'm looking at.
So now this one, we have a little bit more information. What more information do you have
It
here?
just tells me it's a Cabernet.
Okay, so then that means 75% of those grapes have to be Cabernet. So you still have, all right, that's the main part of this. You still have California, so you're not getting any geographic designation like, say, Sonoma. We're close to Santa Barbara, so it's not whittled down. That's the main thing. You want to look for the whittling down of a geographic location.
Got it.
So here, let me grab another. So now I have a friend of mine's wine, Ken Brown. He's a winemaker in Santa Barbara County. Now, what do you notice here? Do you see California on here?
I don't.
So you see Santa Rita Hills.
Yes.
So Santa Rita Hills is an AVA, an American viticultural area. So now you start from California, now you're going to Santa Rita Hills. So now that's saying 85% of those grapes have to come from the Santa Rita Hills. So do you feel a little better about knowing now you're whittling that huge map of California down to now Santa Barbara County, down to just one little AVA.
So now we're able to trace where our product is coming
Exactly.
from. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is very popular right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You want to know where your product's coming from. I mean, now what does this say?
All right, Sanford and Benedict Vineyard. So a specific vineyard.
Exactly.
Oh.
So now you're still getting the same winemaker. He's still making Pinot. They're both the Santa Rita Hills, so it's still, so now you know 85% has to come from Santa Rita Hills.
Yeah.
Now you have a specific vineyard. Now you also know, like, they're getting the grapes from this specific vineyard. And even though there's that little wiggle room that you're allowed to use grapes from somewhere else, if you're leasing or you own a vineyard and you're proud enough to put it on your label, you're not gonna get great. You know, would you?
All the grapes are gonna be coming from that vineyard.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the one thing that some people sometimes get hung up on is, you know, like the vintage or something says 95% of the grapes. The reason they allow that 5% wiggle room for when you get very specific is when you're aging red wines and you put them in those oak barrels, you lose a little, like in whiskey, to the angel share. So you constantly have to top off red wine. You don't want it to get oxidized. So the state allows you that little bit of wiggle room in case you run out of, you don't have the 2016 Sanford and Benedict. You can add a little of other good juice. And again, you're not going to add anything, bad in there.
Right.
To this really beautiful
because you got
wine.
your name.
Yeah, and
on
especially if your name is
Right.
on the bottle, you want the best of the best.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm going to pull this one up, and I want you to tell me what this label tells.
All right, so I'm seeing here, it's from the Russian River Valley in Sonoma County.
So that's specific of a part of California. Russian River is a smaller AVA in there.
Okay. And then we got Additives Vineyard.
Additives Vineyard, yeah.
So now it's supposed to specify where the grapes are from.
Exactly.
Which that means more likely they're going to be mostly 100% of those grapes.
Yeah, from that vineyard.
Okay, and then let's see, 2016 Syrah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, so the grapes, again, because they take the time to tell you all that information,
Right.
they're not, that little leeway room they have with everything,
Yeah.
they're not going to use grapes from other areas. And if they do use some other grapes to help it,
Right.
they're going to get the best grapes they can. Because if they're telling you it's from this specific vineyard, they want you to taste that specific vineyard.
Okay, so now, from what I've learned,
Yeah.
we have the pretty picture, but doesn't tell you much.
Yeah.
Right? From California.
Exactly.
Supposedly it's from California now. They could throw any.
Well,
some
75% is from California.
Okay, so we got 75% here, juicy red blends. Now we're getting into the specifics. This is from Santa Rita Hills.
That's Santa Barbara County.
Okay, and then Santa Rita Hills, but now Sanford and Benedict Vineyards.
Exactly.
So saying
Yep.
specifically where in there it's
Yeah.
from. And this one, I mean, this pretty much tells you, the vineyard it came from.
Yeah. Well, these last two give you the exact vineyard.
Yeah.
So then you can actually go on Google Maps and find, these vineyards and wow, this is exactly where these grapes came from.
And trace it back.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And before I was just looking, what has the coolest picture?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, this one still has a pretty cool picture.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
neat. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at
Barrett
that.
Kent Winery gets a lot of different artists to do all their labels.
Oh, I love art.
Yeah.
See, and that's it. Look, they still have the pretty picture, which is better than all of them.
Yeah.
And then also tells you exactly what's in it, where it's from.
So now this is another winemaker I know, Keith Sarloos in Los Olivos, Santa Barbara County. He always has great pictures of different family members. And then he usually has his information on the back. So now he still has, this is Syrah. And then he has Ballard Canyon AVA Windmill Ranch. The Sarloos family has their own vineyards. So now they put estate on there. That means all the grapes, every single bit of grape in here, they grew, they farmed, they fermented, and then they made into wine. So you'll see a lot, if you see estate on the estate grown, produced and bottled by, produced is the key word. That means that they farmed the land that they got the grapes off of.
I mean, this is just opening up my eyes right here.
Yeah.
All the specifics and details. I mean, and then you also have, you also have all the warnings and everything, as every wine does. But this says contains sulfites.
Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, aren't sulfites the thing that causes the headaches and everything, or?
Absolutely not. That is a old wives' tale. SO2 is created naturally in the winemaking process. And it also, some winemakers also use just a little bit. It helps preserve. It's a preservative, basically. It helps preserve the freshness. So wines like this, they're not going to need a lot because they're starting with really good fruit. If you're starting with really good fruit and you're going out there and you're hand picking it and you're putting it in your truck and you're taking it to your winery, you want to taste that fruit.
Right.
It's wines like this that are adding a lot because, there's 25% they could be shipping it in from South America.
So what you're telling me is that sulfite is a naturally occurring ingredient in the wine, right? And there's not even that much.
Yeah. And in the grand scheme of sulfites in other foods, there's barely any in.
So then, is there a specific key ingredient that's causing maybe headaches, or is there something in wines?
Well, one thing I found is that a lot of people are drinking the cheap wine, like our two here on the end, that you don't know what's in there. I mean, you know, there's 75% grapes from California, but since they're trucking grapes in from other areas, they're going to add even more sulfur to protect it. And by law, they don't have to list the ingredients. When you go to the grocery store, you're looking at the ingredient list of everything. Like, oh, is there GMO?
Right.
Is there high fructose corn syrup? Well, one winemaker, Randall Graham of Bonnie Doon, he started to list ingredients on his wine. So he has the grapes, obviously yeast, and then sometimes they'll fine or filter a wine just to get sediment out. So he'll list those. Normally he has it on the back. This is his proper claret. Unfortunately, he doesn't have it on this one. But next time you're at the store, you can look for a Bonnie Doon wine and try and look and see. Because wines like this that don't tell you where it's coming from or even what grapes are in it, they're adding things like Mega Purple.
Mega Purple.
Oh,
that sounds like a villain from a superhero comic. Mega Purple.
You would think.
What is that?
It's a liquid they add. So when you get grapes that are overripe or when they have like huge vats of grapes, the color comes out, or you're using old grapes or rotten grapes that they're using in a lot of these mass-produced wines, they don't have the color. Here, let's open this up and you can see the color. Now, Randall does not use Mega Purple, so when you get a red wine, that's the color you should have. Look at that beautiful, there's a little bit of purple, it's mostly ruby. That's that's what a red wine should look like.
Okay.
If you get a mass-produced wine,
look at that.
It's not going to have that color. They need to add it. And then there's going to be flavors that aren't going to be in there.
Okay.
So they're going to add different enzymes. You can get liquid tannin. So they're also not going to use oak. So you get these nice wines. They might age it for a little bit in oak. They might age it a lot in oak. Oak is expensive.
Yeah.
That's also why better wines cost a little bit more. These cheap wines aren't going to use any oak barrels. They're going to buy chemicals. They're going to buy liquids that they pour in that give it oak flavor, that give it the color.
Anything you see at the store, all of a sudden all these additives are going into it to make it a great wine.
Yeah.
Or at least simulate a great wine.
Now, you bought this. How much did this cost you?
It was like $10.
All right. Did you try it?
No.
Let's see what you think of a $10 organic wine. Nice. You're swirling, you remember?
Oh, yeah. Well, it aerates.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And you're holding it by the stem. So
don't want to warm it.
Wow.
I can learn.
You're getting a little better every time.
Wow. It's pretty good. For a $10 bottle of wine?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I noticed you did the unscrewing of this one. And then there's other $10 bottles that have the cork. What's the difference? Is there something I should look out for?
It's more economical. If you're making a wine that you're not going to age a long time, and you want to preserve the freshness of the fruit, you can just put a screw cap. There's nothing wrong with them at all. They can then put the money into what's in the bottle. That extra couple dollars per bottle of having to get foil and then this cork and then a machine and you got to put each cork in, that gets expensive. So when you have a screw cap, it's all about freshness. You get a lot of white wines with screw caps because you want that fresh fruit. You want those flavors to be intense. You don't want them dull and muted.
So the biggest thing is just the aging process. A good, expensive bottle of wine that's gone through with the grapefruit from a vineyard is going to have a cork so it can age over time and get that oxygen in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a tiny bit, but they want to get from your primary notes through your secondary notes into tertiary notes. Wine will age in the bottle. And so a cork just is another way to help it age.
Got it.
All right. Cheers, buddy. So you think you feel a little better on how to read a label?
Oh, I think so. I'm excited next time I go to the grocery store so I can figure out.
All right, well, I have a challenge for you. Pulled out a bottle we haven't talked about, and I want you to tell me, what's this bottle?
You would do this after a bottle in, aren't we? All right, Mary Edward 2013, Russian River Valley, So we know where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
Chardonnay. We know what type of grape.
Mm-hmm.
Olivet Lane.
Olivet Lane.
Olivet Lane.
What do you think that is?
Their vineyard? The name of their vineyard?
Exactly.
All right, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
All right, Olivet Lane.
Well, they're not going to put just random words on there. So
Yeah, so now I can Google up
Olivet
Olivet
Lane
Lane.
in the Russian River Valley. And you know Russian River is in Sonoma,
Yeah,
in California. You know the vintage.
and they're not going to put their name on it if it's not up to par.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice little picture going on and
Yeah.
everything you need to know.
Yeah.
All right. So nice. All California wines.
Some of my favorite winemakers in California.
The governor will be proud. Ah, only California wines.
Maybe not on that impression, but
There we go.
Yeah, he'd be happy we were drinking from California. All
We'll
right.
try it
Cheers,
again
buddy.
after
Yeah.
another bottle. You know what, Chris? I think I'm all warmed up.
Yeah.
Where are you taking me for dinner?
Oh man, well, we've got some good wines to open, but I think we need to start with something light and fresh and crisp like this wine. Maybe get some oysters or shrimp cocktail.
There you go. Tie it all in.
Yeah, exactly.
cocktail.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
That's good. Yeah.